Trump administration has released a video of what they say is narco terrorists on a boat delivering drugs being blown up. 11 people were killed. There are now concerns that the U.S. may get involved in a war with Venezuela. Maduro says that they're going to respond to the U.S. taking military action in the Caribbean. And Democrats are apoplectic. How dare Donald Trump kill narco terrorists? I'm not joking. Now, to be fair, okay, fine. I mean, when the government blows somebody up and then just says, trust me, we don't necessarily have to trust them. However, in this regard, when the U.S. government releases the video themselves, it's probably not something they're going to get caught doing wrong. Usually it's a whistleblower or whatever. So it is funny to see that Trump has now gotten the Democrats to get behind Tren de Aragua and drug cartels. Oh, boy. Well, we'll talk about that. We got a lot of other news. The Epstein stuff, of course. Victims held a press conference saying they were going to be releasing their own client list, which will be interesting. And then a couple stories that I think are particularly interesting, even though they're across the pond. In the UK, Graham Linehan, a comedian, gets off a plane and gets arrested in the UK. He's British, but for tweets he sent jokes while in the United States. So this is very interesting. And then, probably the most interesting, Germany's AfD party, this is their populist right-wing party, 7 of their politicians have died within days of their upcoming election, and no one believes it's a coincidence. So we'll talk about that and a lot more. Before we get started, we got a great sponsor for you. We've got Crowd Health. My friends, check out joincrowdhealth.com. You can get healthcare for under $100, my friends. Take agency over your own health and rid yourself of the bureaucracy of the healthcare system with Crowd Health's new Black Swan membership. It's the healthcare alternative for people who want autonomy over their care, their costs, and their lifestyle. So you're ready for those rare but potentially devastating black swan events in life. With Crowd Health, you stay in control without insurance and the networks dictating your care. Health insurance processes are confusing and can leave you feeling taken advantage of. Crowd Health is doing things differently. You get healthcare for under $100. You get access to a team of health bill negotiators, low-cost prescription and lab testing tools, as well as a database of low-cost, high-quality doctors vetted by Crowd Health. And what if something major happens? You pay the first $15K, then the Crowd steps in to help fund the rest. It feels like the options we used to have before Obamacare messed everything up. And of course, you'll join the Crowd, a group of members just like you want to help pay for each other's unexpected medical events. Black swan moments might be rare, but good health insurance alternatives shouldn't be. Get started today for as low as $80 per month for your first 3 months using code TIM at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health is not insurance. Opt out, take your power back. This is how we win. Join crowdhealth.com. And of course, my friends, for those that want to stay awake, we've got castbrew.com. Have you re-upped your Cast Brew order? Maybe you're running low. Appalachian Nights, everybody's favorite. But maybe you're one of those individuals who gets a tummy ache from drinking coffee. Well, Ian's Graphene Dream is here to save you. And it's just nuts. This dude sells so much coffee. You guys are putting Ian through college and you know he needs it. His Graphene Dream is low acidity. So go to castbrew.com and pick that up. He sold 50 bags in a day. Like I shouted this out yesterday. 50 bags already got sold. This is nuts. Everybody is raving. They're saying it tastes delicious and the low acidity is easier on their stomach. So definitely check that out. But don't forget to also smash that like button. Share the show right now with everyone you know. And I do mean it. Right now, if you're watching this live, it's more important than ever to take the URL and then just copy and paste it and blast it off on whatever social media platform you use. Support the show. Join our Discord server. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we have Gavin McInnes.
Hey, I'm number one.
You are? You want to grab your microphone and talk?
I'm number one. I'm happy to be here. I am number one. And yeah, let's.
Well, who are you? What do you do?
I have been so canceled that I'm the only person in the world not on Twitter. I started the Proud Boys, Vice Media, invented hipsters, gentrified Williamsburg, and made 3 Native Americans from scratch. And I'm left with censored.tv, which is the only place I'm allowed to exist.
I have to say, you were responsible for creating one of the most nefarious and notorious groups that we have known in the modern era.
Bloods.
Hipsters.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you feel deeply.
I wrecked your joke, by the way. I stepped on it.
It is true, though. People don't know that you made hipsters. You went to Brooklyn and you put a flag in the ground?
Well,
Williamsburg?
New York has these decade-long scenes. Like there was Jack Kerouac with the Beatniks, and there was the sort of raver scene in the 90s. There was the CBGB scene in the 80s. For some reason, they choose round numbers, and it's like 80 to 90. That was the club kids. 70 to 80, that was the CBGB, like art school kids that became punk. And we owned 2000 and 2010, and that was like army jackets and track bikes and MP3s. I liked it. It got sort of putrefied by metrosexuals. It branched out into sort of like fake bikers and metrosexuals. But yeah, it was a great little scene, and I'm happy that it existed, like the Beatniks and the raver kids and all that other.
Early Vice as well.
Early Vice.
Yeah.
Early Vice.
Early.
Early Vice, dude, is 1994. Voice
Wow.
of Montreal is Early Vice.
Yes. I think for the millennials and for my generation, it was like 2010 was when everybody liked.
2010, I had a salt and pepper beard
Yeah,
at that point.
This is a long time ago. And I think were you still there in 2010?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was 94 to 2008.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I definitely want to talk to you about it. It should be fun. We'll get into the news. We got Elaad hanging out.
Good evening, everybody. I am Elaad Eliyahu, the White House correspondent here at Timcast. I was going to say, Gavin, it's befitting that you started the hipster trend because you still do look like a fruity hipster a bit.
Why fruit? Why'd you add fruity?
Because the tattoos
Tattoos are gay?
Those types of tattoos.
Yeah, not cool, Elaad.
I think it's like counterculture
we're
to
not
not have
bigoted.
tattoos.
So hold on. It's gay to have Fidel Castro and Chiang Kai-shek
We can't hear you.
by a underwater jellyfish.
Is a jellyfish? Is an octopus?
A robotic jellyfish. That's gay. Why don't you grow enough
Yeah.
balls to get at least one tattoo?
Yeah, and those.
Why don't you get a
and the
tiny Star
glasses.
of David on your wrist?
Too cliche.
That's all we ask.
I feel like I ooze Judaism. I don't need like a star to prove.
Why don't
this.
you just get a mole?
Hey, Elaad.
Get the
anyway,
star right behind
Phil's
your
gay now.
Phil's
Okay.
here.
Hello, everybody. My name's Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter.
That's probably gay too. I don't know.
Probably.
Gay metal.
Yes, definitely.
All right, let's start with the first story. So y'all may have seen this video. The Independent reports, beware how and why Trump attacked a Venezuelan drug cartel boat. The attack comes a day after the Venezuelan president accused the Trump admin of plotting a military invasion of his country. And the Trump admin published this video of, indeed, a boat exploding. So Trump claimed 11 drug traffickers were killed in the strike. Look, I see a lot of liberals, and they're angry, saying Trump murdered people. They're saying he murdered civilians, and I'm like, wait, what? Okay, listen. I've been critical of the Middle East intervention, the war in Ukraine, U.S. support for Israel, all of this funding we're spending overseas. The one time you can probably expect the government not to be lying about the strike is when they publish the video and tell you we did it. Typically, when we see like we've got the famous collateral murder video that was leaked, where U.S. blew up a couple journalists, a Reuters reporter in, I think it was in Iraq or Afghanistan. This is 10, 15 years ago. That was leaked, and that made the U.S. look bad, and they were upset about it. This is Trump saying, here's what we've confirmed, and we did. So certainly don't take their word for it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, the U.S. government blowing people up, fine, it must be trustworthy. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in this regard that they're striking narco-terrorists and traffickers and cartel members who rape, murder, and steal. And I'm not going to sit here and cry and call Trump a murderer on this one. This is what I can't stand. You get these military actions in Eastern Europe or the Middle East, and then these pro-military industrial complex neolibs are just like, no, that's fine. No, we all right. They don't go after Biden for what happened in Afghanistan.
If he was getting guys that were bringing fentanyl to the West, I don't even care where in the West, anywhere in North America, then thank God he did that. But I think we have to differentiate exactly what was on this boat. Because if it was Coke with no fentanyl, well, yeah, I'm glad you got those guys. We totally don't want cocaine in America. No way, Jose. Glad you got them. Anyway.
It is going to go, though. Cocaine as well. Like all of that stuff that's trafficking. He's like, I regret my truck.
Great. I love that cocaine is going down with the fentanyl shit because it's all bad. All drugs are bad. And Even pure cocaine, where you can do a line and like have a meal and do a line and go to bed, that stuff's just as bad as fentanyl. So get it out of here. No way, Jose.
He will, though.
You could give me a bump right now, and I'd be like, no, thanks. I'd probably grab it and run to the bathroom to throw it in the toilet.
As you should.
Yeah.
But
Drugs are bad.
You obviously don't have,
Have a toilet?
You do have a toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah. Sam Cedar broke it, though.
Yeah, he literally did.
He did.
No, but let's be
I
honest.
don't know why he told us that, but he did.
The war on cocaine is retarded.
honest.
It's a great drug. It's like weed. It's 100 coffees without the diarrhea.
Oh, I disagree. I think it's all
little
bad.
bit. Yeah.
I think
Cocaine and fentanyl are just as bad.
Oh, I'm not going to sit here and say all drugs are the exact same thing, but drugs in general are not good for
Caffeine.
the United States. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. But it's a scale.
Did we just sell caffeine like
We did.
2 minutes ago?
Coffee. But it's a scale, right? I'm not going to sit
Yeah.
here and tell people to buy pure caffeine and go do a bump.
Okay, weed, cocaine, caffeine, fentanyl,
Agree. That's why we have the schedule.
heroin, opioids. Like they are Russian roulette. They're way up here. Cocaine is, you get a little chatty.
I think a big part of the issue
I-
of cocaine
I-
too is that it's usually cut with stuff and could kill you
Right.
nowadays.
But not just that. I could tell you stories of people whose lives have been completely destroyed by cocaine.
But what if
And pot,
coffee was
too.
cut with fentanyl? Do we blow up
but-
coffee trucks?
But we're not telling people to isolate
I never
caffeine
thought
and
of
snort
like
it.
that.
Okay, that doesn't matter how you ingest the drug.
Well, 90 milligrams in a cup of coffee. And you know what? Yes, the caffeine addiction this country and the West has is really bad.
You know what? This is
bad.
kind of like Epstein. I don't give a crap if guys are effing post-pubescent girls. Jimmy Page was with the 14-year-old. It's not my cup of tea. But Sexy and 17, Stray Cats, she was just 17, if you know what I mean. Like, if Epstein Island is pubescent and post-pubescent, and same with P. Diddy, I don't care. I want to focus on actual molestation of prepubescent children. That's where I want to, like, start lynching people.
But is it
Similarly with drugs, cocaine, weed, no. I want to focus on fentanyl and opioids.
but isn't it-
let's split
Isn't it a scale? It's like triage. Like it's all
I
bad, but
see
we
it more
start
as
from.
Moses splitting the sea. Like 17-year-olds having sex with rock stars, I'm falling asleep right now. 12-year-olds having sex with rock stars, I'm wide awake
But
and grabbing my guns.
I think pot is bad.
Yeah.
I think
So
alcohol is bad.
farting in a movie theater.
But it's a scale. It's a scale.
Correct.
Like I don't think alcohol and marijuana should be completely banned and shut down and isolated or whatever. Total prohibition. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
But there's a scale. Like obviously fentanyl, yes.
Cocaine should be legal. It's a perfectly good, it's really just coffee and booze combined. Fentanyl is a death sentence that's
Yeah.
murdering our children. So if there was fentanyl on that boat, you get a thumbs up.
No, I'm going to draw a
If there's
line in the
cocaine
sand
on
here.
that
I
boat,
don't think cocaine's
fuck
kosher.
you. F you.
Yeah, I think cocaine's bad.
Cocaine goes past the line, and I'm also ambivalent about the pot stuff. Where do you draw the line? What do
When did
you
you last
think?
do cocaine?
I would never do cocaine.
Okay, so you're talking about like gay porn.
Do I need to do fentanyl to know that I'm against it? Like, do I need to have gay sex to know that I don't want to have gay sex? What's your argument here?
My argument is you're talking about something you're not even remotely familiar with.
I think I understand the effects enough to
Okay,
know
what
that
are the
it's
effects of cocaine? What
a
if you did a
stimulant.
line right now? What would happen
It's
to
a
you?
stimulant.
Yeah. You just
Probably
did
going to make you need to go to the bathroom.
You just did a
and
Red
it's
Bull.
going to-
You just did a line.
I just did a Red Bull.
You just did a Red Bull
It's
line.
going to suppress my appetite.
Yes, correct. All the same symptoms.
It might harm my
I don't
my
want to come
ability
across
to
as Mr.
get
Cocaine, defending cocaine. I'm just saying
No,
you
that's how
shouldn't
we're
be
starting.
blowed up real good on a boat.
But
if
what are
you
the
were just-
effects of legalizing cocaine for people who are 18 and older or 21 and
Well,
older?
that's an interesting point because legalization, on the book is a sort of a semi-libertarian. I'm like, yes, that looks great on paper. I love it. And then I saw like Colorado with legalization of pot. I'm driving down the 95 in New York and I smell it coming into my car. So you got me if you're talking about legalization.
Yes.
But as far as
That's
like
the
a
point.
nebulous discussion of what's really bad for you, cocaine is like
It's bad for society. I'll put it like this. There is a weight placed on you depending on the scale of the drug you're taking. Fentanyl is a weight that puts you 6 feet under. Cocaine is a weight that drags you down 20% or something.
Okay, here's some bad news. If there was no cocaine, you would have no Tower Records, you'd have no Playboy magazine, you'd have no National Lampoon, you'd have no Vice magazine, you would have no Studio 54, you'd have no disco, you'd have no Def Leppard, you'd have no hair metal.
Let me tell you right now, there's a bunch of disaffected Gen Z men who have found like religion and tradition.
Which is great.
Who are saying, wow, we never should have allowed those things in the first place.
Yeah, okay.
And you know what they're saying? I drive down the street and I smell it coming through my window. I see the dudes strung out and pawning their goods to get more and thinking, why did we ever allow any of it?
But my point is with this Moses splitting the sea thing, I want to isolate the real villains, because when we isolate real villains like fentanyl and prepubescent sexual molestation, we're talking a language everyone can understand. When we're like, oh my God, there was cocaine at that party, you guys, we lose the youth with the right-wing movement. So let's not become school marms and start like celebrating the death of a cocaine boat that could have been brought in.
Gen Z is going conservative.
Yeah, okay.
Because
good.
they're sick of
but
all
the
the
reason
things
they're
you just
going
described.
conservative is because we were being pretty liberal-minded. The reason that we got the youth is because we weren't being little nitpickers about all the rules and not bitching about irrelevant stuff. We're not being Ben Shapiro's. The reason it's cool to be conservative is not because of Ben Shapiro. It's because of Tim and Gav.
I maybe half disagree.
Well, you're in it.
I don't think that. I think Ben Shapiro is a huge. So when we meet young people, Gen Z people in their mid 20s or whatever, they say, "Oh, in the late 2010s, I was getting all the Ben Shapiro debate videos," and they were watching Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk are gateway drugs, but they come to us because we go, yeah, I've effed a ton of broads. I've done mountains of blow. And I don't like liberals. And I think the problem with like the Pat Buchanan generation of paleo-conservative nerds is they ostracize the youth by, being these tie-wearing, uptight guys who don't know the difference between fentanyl and cocaine and weed and opioids.
And I think, there's a really interesting conversation in like pot being Schedule 1. Trump says he wants to remove that. I think a lot of people don't realize this, that caffeine and cocaine have near the exact same physiological response. I'm sure
Dude, meth and Adderall, look at the chemical composition.
Adderall is meth.
It's one little satellite, little octagon.
Isn't it just about how fast it metabolizes in the body? Adderall is slower than meth.
we have an entire generation on Adderall.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I'll do speed once a year if I got to do a marathon. That's a very intense drug.
You know what I see?
That's like renting an RV.
I see. When I was younger, I was much more liberal. Now I'm fairly moderate on the. I'm a little libertarian. I don't know that prohibition, the way we tried it with beer, works. But I think we as society need to culturally shun and say no to all these drugs.
Gavin, is it worth?
No, we need to recognize the dangers of them. Like I'm for the legalization of weed, of course, but I want young people to know it kills your economic libido. It makes you sleep in till noon. You will not choose your career. Like Tim Pool never would have been Tim Pool if he was smoking weed all day. He'd think about what this place would look like in his head, but you never would have actualized it if you were high on weed. So recognize it's the dangers of it. But I don't want the government telling you not
Right,
to.
no, exactly. It's got to be a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
And I think we're seeing a lot of young people that are leaning towards a similar position, but there's kind of a youth zeitgeist, I guess, which is drugs are bad and we don't want to go near them. You know what I mean?
That's gay.
But you agree with it.
Do cocaine.
Do
Kevin,
do not.
Marijuana.
Not do illegal
Do
drugs.
heroin once.
No, you can't.
That's advice you'd give to your children?
Yes.
Kevin,
my kids are on heroin right now.
There is
They're watching, slapping their
there was
veins right
there was
now.
a viral thread on Reddit where a guy was saying what you were saying, and he was like, trying it one time wouldn't be bad, and then it's this big long thread where he dies.
Well, yes. Fentanyl has ruined heroin. Not that heroin was good before, but it's sort of like a threesome. Like, again, let me make something very clear here. Fentanyl has ruined all drugs. So everything I say about cocaine and heroin is pre-fentanyl. But post-fentanyl, yes, blow up the boats. But as far as like pie in the sky hypotheticals go, I think that, you should try a threesome. You're not going to enjoy it, by the way.
Conservatives are just like, this guy's terrible.
A threesome
These dudes can't get laid anymore, and you want them to try a threesome.
A threesome?
Guys can't get.
I mean,
threesome is
shooting
running
through
around with a
stars,
clipboard, making sure everyone's okay. You're like, how are you guys doing over here? Do you have grapes?
What formation type threesome are you talking?
A guy and 2 chicks. But I've done 2 guys and a girl.
I want
People go, is that gay? And I'm like, no, it's like digging a hole for a body, and your shovels clink. You're just like, you got bigger fish to fry. You're taking care of Drea de Matteo because she snitched.
So because I think that you may have already answered my question. If that vote had, say, there was some fentanyl, some cocaine, some marijuana, right? Would you think that the boat should be blown up because it was bringing in fentanyl and, oh, well, we lost some cocaine and marijuana? Yes. Okay. Because I just want to be clear on how bad you think it is.
I have a zero tolerance policy as the king of the world for zero fentanyl.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in England. I came to Ottawa, Canada when I was around 5. And then I grew up in Ontario, outside of Ottawa. I moved to Montreal when I was 18, which I consider a different country. Quebec is a different country. It's French-speaking.
You guys have debonair.
We have debonaires. They don't like the English there. You're a second-class citizen for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved to New York in the late 90s, and I've been here ever since.
I was curious. I do think that the view you have, obviously, this is just a generalism, but it's based on where you grew up and how you grew up. And
sure, yeah. Well, Canada. Sorry,
just the reason I ask is because when I think about where I grew up, my reaction is, "Holy crap, cocaine's bad." The things that I saw done for cocaine and to sell cocaine in Chicago, it's like, why would we tolerate that ever, and why would we encourage in any way?
Tim, have you ever done this much?
Like a phone's worth?
Yeah.
I've seen people kill each other, or no, figuratively. I've not seen anyone like
Go do a phone's worth of cocaine and call me back on the 3rd day.
A phone's
Dude, I'm sick of crackheads already, and I feel like this is conducive to producing more crackheads.
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
Yeah,
like, there's too many crackheads in the country.
Like, there's the law, and there's what we want for society, and then there's just, like, dudes talking.
Do you think cocaine's addictive?
Yeah, but, like, people don't really die from it. You chat yourself to
So what I see where I grew up is people going to prison and their lives destroyed, and whatever potential they had as American citizens to build a business was wiped out by cocaine.
Well, they went to prison because cocaine's illegal. I can't believe I'm Mr. Cocaine defendant here, but
yeah, I think it's bad.
You're like Hollywood.
But we're not even. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a guy. I'm not talking about a guy with a little baggie. I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about people who are like, I'm going to go get it. They grab a gun and then they go and there's gang slinging.
Yeah, and they did that because it's illegal.
So you're saying like Portugal method,
dude,
like dispensaries
in Colombia. You'll bump into your mom and you'll be like, "Mom, I'm so tired. Have you got a bump?" And your
Dude,
mom
Colombia
is
sucks.
like
I don't want to be I don't want to be in Colombia.
It sucks.
Like, they have a bunch of narco
factors.
gangs, and
it's genetically behind.
don't they rob Americans who go there as tourists?
Yes.
Okay.
That happens all over the world.
Let's keep talking about Central. Let's jump to this next story. We've got this from the AP. Maduro says Venezuela is ready to respond to U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, and a top Biden-era official is warning the U.S. could stumble into disastrous intervention in Venezuela. The argument being that Maduro is not going to tolerate the U.S. military operations in the Caribbean, and then the U.S. is going to stumble. I don't think it's a stumbling. I think the U.S. intentionally will be like, time to go in, boys. But the concern now is, as Donald Trump keeps saying, we don't want to be involved in these wars far away in the Middle East, he does keep talking about the cartels in Mexico as well as Tren de Aragua. So if there is the potential for escalation, it's closer to home. It's Venezuela. You guys think that Trump is going to is going to intervene and get us involved in Venezuela?
I don't particularly think that there's a large chance, a significant chance that we're going to go into Venezuela, actually boots on the ground. I think strikes like this will continue. Look, at the end of the day, the cartels are out to make money. And if all of their shipments, or not all of their shipments, but if a significant portion of their shipments keep getting blown up, I imagine they're going to say, all right, it's not worth it to try and ship it into the U.S.
Can we reinstitute colonization? Can we become colonialists again?
I love
I
feel like we still are.
Greenland has tons of resources, and the amount of oil that those losers have. Like it
They can't
dwarfs
access
Saudi
anymore.
Arabia. Let's get in there. Let's invade Venezuela. I'm not
Encourage
joking.
regime change in Venezuela. I
They got a
mean,
lot of oil.
How do you have so much oil, more than Canada, more than Mexico, more than Saudi Arabia, and you're loser central?
Because they
communists.
kicked out all the companies that were actually
because they're communists. yeah.
proficient.
Then buy. Bye-bye.
Well, that's the thing.
Move.
So invade.
What did we do in Iran? We pushed out the Shah. We got a bunch of losers in there. They accidentally had a revolution, and we went, "Oops! I guess we shouldn't have meddled in there." Like we're always meddling and not getting the money. You know what Ann Coulter said to me once? She goes, "I hate that these sheiks all over the Middle East. They have so much money and." They don't know how to get the oil out of the ground. We did that. And then they get the money. We should have gone there and just said, I'm paraphrasing Ann right now. We should have just gone like, hi, you have this dirty black guck in your water supply. And we'll be removing that now for $100 a month. And then, like, what do they do with their money? They drive on cars with two wheels on the side. And they have a harem that they skull F.
There was someone told me a funny story about how there was a small village in Saudi Arabia, and when they found oil just like under part of the village, within 5 years, everybody in the village was wearing thick gold chains and rings.
Yeah.
But everything else stayed the same. Like they still lived in little adobe hut kind of things.
I was talking to Chris about that island in Polynesia where the coral generates this intense carbon that you sprinkle on your crops and everyone gets rich. And so everyone was a millionaire overnight. And they can't grow their own crops because their coral carbon crap is too intense. So they would just import like Popeyes. And so they all became this like turgid billionaires in Lamborghinis that they didn't know how to drive. Like you can't help certain cultures that are just not as advanced as ours. You need to go through cold
Cultural.
Siberian winters to know how to spend your money. Sorry.
So, as far as this story goes, there's a few things. There's a few different things going on. So, first of all, these cartels are terrorist organizations, have been designated as such, and so all of these boats are legitimate military targets, as far as I'm concerned. We've been having a military buildup outside of Venezuela, and there are a lot of reasons why regime change would make sense there. And there's a few different ways to geopolitically look at this. First of all, it would deal with the cartels. It would also help mitigate the immigration crisis that we're seeing from Venezuela and other South American countries. Also, us getting the oil would be a huge deal. We have the correct oil refineries for Venezuelan oil, which is like thick and sour, so-called thick and sour oil. So this could help mitigate Russia's benefits off of cheap oil right now that they're sending around the globe. So like we could help spike those prices down, drop those prices if we were able to get that Venezuelan oil
So should
out.
So we
the
should
U.S.
invade Venezuela.
We should encourage the Venezuelan people to rise up against their
got an idea.
fascistic
Wait,
communist captors.
Okay. I got an idea. Now, if we want to avoid full-scale war with Venezuela, right?
Ooh, I'm scared.
Well, but it's
Full-scale war.
But you don't go to 10 right away. You don't crank it all the way up real quick, right? We want to if we can avoid war and take them over, it's better than going to war, right? We save money.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I got an idea. What if the U.S. just hear me out? Allocated through Congress funds to a U.S. organization that operated under the guise of international aid, but was actually fomenting revolution in foreign countries. And then we call it something like, American aid or U.S.
USAID? I like
U.S. aid.
USAID,
That
yeah.
works. Yeah, Trump should start that. Could you imagine if we had something like that?
That's my attitude with every time the left plays dirty pool. I'm like, where's our dirty pool? Like
Have one.
Putin has this thing, Little Green Men, where he sends in guys in green uniforms to foment revolution, and I'm like, okay,
And the Wagner Group.
Well, I mean, that's basically
I'm doing that. I want that in Venezuela.
Quick trip to Venezuela with the
Berets
boys.
That in Greenland.
That's
like,
what
let's do
USAID
that.
was.
Yeah, well,
Everyone's playing dirty pool, but us.
but that
No,
well,
the problem is USAID was woke, and it was
Right.
it was
Let's do an unwoke
Listen, it was
USAID.
not it was not pushing American interests. It was convincing it was forcing third world countries to adopt policies towards accepting LGBTQ activism and transgenderism. And the people like in Afghanistan were like, why is this on my wall? And then we're sitting in America being like, literally, what is the American interest in promoting LGBTQ activism in Afghanistan? Now, if you said, we want the oil from Venezuela, sure, I can understand that. We can have a debate about whether we should or shouldn't, but at least that would make sense mathematically.
Yeah. It's like you're confiscating their pit bull, and they're like, oh, you're going to put my pit bull down? No, it's my pit bull now.
So this story has really gone underreported, and I think it's worthwhile to listen to a couple of the quotes coming out of the administration to show how serious they are about this. So a couple of quotes from Caroline Leavitt. One is, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco terror cartel. Maduro, in the view of this administration, is not the legitimate president. He's a fugitive head of a cartel who has been indicted in the U.S. for trafficking drugs into the country. Those are fighting words, in my estimation.
What an inbred loser. You have more oil than basically anyone ever. I think he's in the top 3, 4, 5 maybe oil producers in the universe, and he's focusing on coke.
Do you remember when the people of Venezuela were starving, and so Maduro went on TV to give an address to the nation, and he didn't realize the cameras were on him the whole time, so he opened a drawer, pulled out an empanada, took a big bite, and then put it back, and everyone was like, what is, he legit did that.
Yeah.
He's a fat guy in a starving nation with a drawer with an empanada. It's like, buddy, could you not wait 10 minutes before you ate your empanada? That's Venezuela.
Let them eat empanadas.
Look, like what you were talking about, like having like little green men, that's literally the job of the Green Berets. They get dropped into hostile territory and they align with the local people that will fight. They try and form a militia, teach them how to fight. So we actually do have the capacity to do it still. Now, whether or not the United States will do it, I mean, I don't know.
There just needs to be a group of guys standing back and standing by, just ready in case any violence comes onto the street, and we need people protected.
Yes.
You know, patriots from Antifa and different
unashamed
socialists
guys.
on the street.
They should be called the unashamed
Can
guys.
I just this is true. This is 2017. He was giving an address to the nation, and he decided to eat an empanada while live. I guess he thought that the camera had like switched over to something. Bro, it's just like, if you waited 5 minutes, you could have eaten your empanada. That's Venezuela.
The world is brutally corrupt. The drugs are everywhere. The guns aren't going away. Like, this is my problem with the right. They see Biden pull out these hockey bags of votes, right? And they're like, oh my God, we got to stop the hockey bags. I'm like, look, it's Mad Max. It's post-apocalyptic. Where's our hockey bags? Like, everyone's cheating. We're cheating.
You know what? We've been talking about this quite a bit. I'm curious your thoughts. For the past several years, we've talked quite a bit about the political space. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much, I don't even really care anymore because the population crisis is substantially more, let's call it heavier. It's gonna matter substantially more than whether or not there's an election. I'm curious your thoughts on where we end up in the next 5 years, considering, I'll put it this way, Gen Alpha is half the size of Gen Z.
Yeah.
So it's a mathematical impossibility to recover unless Gen Alpha has 6 kids each.
Well, there's two things going on at once, and they're both antithetical. There's this insane influx of immigrants, and even before Biden, there was I would say 30 million illegals in America. He let in 12 million. That's Ellis Island's entirety over 80 years. So even if Trump deports 10,000 a day for the remaining of his term, we're still back to 30 million. So you have that problem, and then you have the problem of course, locals not breeding. And they're not a good combo. I don't know. There's something about God put this little microchip in every group. I used to say it was whites, but it's every group. When they get successful, they stop breeding. I don't know why that is. Like Mexicans, as they make more money, they have less kids. The Japanese have this same crisis.
It's called behavioral sync, and we believe all mammals do it.
I don't like that. Have more kids when you have more money. Have less kids when you have less money. It's like a design flaw in nature for some reason.
You know about the rat utopia experiment, right?
Yeah.
When the rats had infinite food and water, what did they do? They started doing They do exactly what humans are doing now. Humans are exhibiting behavioral sync. But my concern is, in the short term, we talk about, big mail-in bags and votes, and Trump is talking about we got to get rid of mail-in voting, and then there's conversations about war, and I'm like, in 5 years, all your grocery stores are going to start going out of business. You're not going to be able to get certain fruits or vegetables out of season anymore. Your beef, that's going to be
just close the borders and figure it out. I mean, there's so many different factors. Like, a few people are talking about this. The West is contingent on a lot of things. Western culture was built on cold winters, for one. I got to pickle stuff, or I'm going to starve. I also think I have to be ultra benevolent. I got to help the retard, or can I say that? Or we're all.
That's the second time already. So,
I imagine you've spent time in like Mediterranean cultures.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Or the heat?
No, the laziness.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So
look at the food. What is
siesta?
What's your favorite Costa Rican food?
No.
There's no such thing. Puerto Rican food, it's a hot banana with a little leaf on it, and then they tie it with a string. What the hell am I eating? A boiled string banana?
Hold on. I got to stop you there, buddy. Okay, I can't speak for Puerto Rico. They have something similar, but I think it's Dominican. Mango, you ever have that?
No.
Okay, for breakfast, you get boiled mashed plantains with pickled onions, fried salami, and fried cheese, and it's like the best breakfast ever.
Fried salami and cheeses, that's me.
And that's what they eat.
So it's like the Indians. I love their little beaded shoes, but those beads are mine. Like half the time any culture has anything good, it's like my shit.
Okay, let me say though. Spain, right? I went to southern Spain, and they have the best ham I've ever had. Fantastic.
Okay. Spain is the West.
Sure, except they're also siesta. They're a siesta culture.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's terrible. So it's
a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day.
And I have to work. So I'm on a schedule and I have obligations. And so I'm in southern Spain and it's like 1 o'clock and I'm like, I better go grab lunch right now while I still have time. Everything's closed. And I'm like, when does it open? Like 4. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I got to eat.
You know what? You can afford to live like that when you live in a culture that has outlawed cousin marriage.
Now, have you been to Athens?
We are importing... Hold on. We are importing cultures that don't outlaw cousin marriage.
We don't outlaw cousin marriage.
They are inbred. Yeah, we do.
Let me pull up the exact number.
You know you're in West Virginia, right?
No, I think.
Well, there's people that cheat, but generally the Western world over the past 500 years has been
20 U.S. states allow cousin marriage, and New York allows you to gay marry your cousin.
Oh boy.
Oh, is that to say you can't gay marry your cousin in the other states?
There's like I think 2 or 3 states that allow gay marriage and cousin marriage. So
you can't really be inbred if you're gay. Like your poo is going to be inbred.
So here's how it works. There's a certain number of states that allow gay marriage, a certain number of states that allow cousin marriage, and a couple that have unregulated gay cousin marriage. Now, obviously, with Obergefell and the Supreme Court rulings, all states are required to recognize gay marriage now. So there's a lot more states, 20, that allow you to gay marry your cousin.
It's not our culture. It happens. It may be legal somewhere, but
it's not normal.
As far as our DNA
it's
goes,
frowned upon.
We're not made of cousin marriage. Most of the people we're importing now are made of cousin marriage.
It is.
And when you take our best asset, not cousin breeding, and you import the worst part of the rest of the world, you have this poop soup.
Well, so let me give the hard details for people who aren't familiar. In the Middle East, it is extremely common to marry your cousin.
It's in the Quran.
It's a culturally normal thing, and we know scientifically that it results in an increased aggression and a decrease in IQ.
Chink.
This is why my Joe Rogan episode is banned, by the way.
Because you brought up.
I said this, and it's very bad to do once. It's not great to do twice. You breed your cousins 50 generations.
Wait, they banned your episode over this? Hey, look, here's a Wikipedia article, cousin marriage in the Middle East.
Both my Joe Rogan episodes are banned because I brought up this unbelievably terrible subject.
Really? You mentioned Pakistan in particular. I think they have...
Pakistan in Britain is
let me
9 different things on top of each other.
Let me read this. Rates of cousin marriage in the Middle East have been found to vary from 29% in Egypt to 58% in Saudi Arabia.
Don't pull that up, Jamie. We're going to get banned.
But hold on. I want to stress this is Wikipedia. Right? If YouTube's got a problem with a Wikipedia article saying this is a thing that we say happens.
Pulled up.
Really? And they banned it?
Yeah.
That's wild. I actually thought this was a fairly common and mainstream
You know
understanding.
what's great about being banned is no one knows you're banned. So people are like, you were on Joe Rogan and I haven't seen your tweets recently. And I'm like, my Joe Rogans are banned. My Twitter's banned. I'm banned.
Dude, how are you still banned? Everybody's unbanned. You're the only guy left. Laura Loomer, Alex Jones.
And I
Nick
want to
Fuentes,
stress this.
everybody's back. But
In a few
I
minutes,
guess I'm just much more influential than you guys.
we're going to talk about what I'm calling Floydgate. And so there are these string of hilarious racist jokes, and it's targeting white people too. I don't, it's not a left or right thing. They get millions of views on Instagram. Instagram is just reveling in AI generated race jokes, and that's why it's pretty crazy.
How the F do you ban them?
Well, they banned you. Like, that's the point.
I
Like,
know, but an AI cartoon of George Floyd. So you'd have to tell your algorithm ban George Floyd's face, and then it's like a memorial for how great he is, and that gets banned. So they don't know what to ban.
The double standard we saw on the big tech platforms in the 2010s. You had liberals posting wood chippers saying they wanted to throw Christian children into it, and Twitter wouldn't ban them. And then someone says #learn to code and gets banned. It's easy for them to enforce a double standard. So what my point right now is it's crazy to hear that you are still banned on X when you go on Instagram and there was one video with 7 million views just mocking Indian people for not showering.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's tons of them. They're everywhere. And it's like, it's 6.8 million views in this video, and all the comments are laughing. And I'm like, the pendulum has swung really hard in the other direction, right? And I know there's still remnants of woke, and these battles are still happening, but Trump won. And that's why I'm saying, you'd think by now, maybe you know what it is. It's just, here's what I think. I had a conversation with Google recently, and we were discussing the algorithm.
Wait,
I
is
believe,
this like AI or you people at Google?
I was actually talking to a person at Google. I was talking to a human being who works at Google.
Okay.
And I said, I believe that at the height of censorship, there were varying degrees of weights placed on different personalities. Some were outright banned, some were censored, some were delisted, shadow banned, etc. It's a fact that all of my YouTube channels were removed from Google. And you'd go on Google and search for my channel, my name, the title of the video, and it would not come up. And it was only a couple of years ago when I was talking about on the show that it finally got lifted live in real time while we were on the show. It was kind of crazy. So I told this Google person, you know what I think? I think you have restrictions on my account that have been there, legacy restrictions from the Biden, from the first Trump era, the censorship wave, extending into the Biden era. And now that we're moving into the space where the expectation of the individual at Google is, no, we're not doing that right now. You guys haven't gone into all the old channels, that legacy channels that fought through this and removed those restrictions. So I guarantee you, if I launch a new YouTube channel, I bet none of those restrictions will exist. And I believe I'm already proving it. I launched a new YouTube channel. YouTube gave me the @TimPool channel. Everyone go subscribe to YouTube @TimPool. And I did a video the other day, commentary on a Jubilee video with PBD. And you know what? You know where I can see the evidence? It's not proof yet, but it's evidence. The video had sustained viewership for 2 days. On Timcast IRL, Timcast, and Timcast News, the video will when it goes public, gets a ton of views and then slowly drops off and disappears. After 24 hours, the video is completely gone. And it's been that way for a while. And it tells, it's because it's news. Oh, yeah? I do a video on a brand new channel, Tim Pool, and the views stay for 2 whole days. And I'm like, that's because YouTube strapped a bunch of censorship to a ton of channels.
Yeah.
And the people who did have moved on. And now the code or whatever they injected onto our accounts, and this channel, for instance, Timcast IRL, it's still there. And the new employees who come in are like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you make on these shows?
Like how much money?
Yeah. How much money will you make on tonight's show?
It's really hard to figure out the individual number for the show.
Damn,
No,
Gavin wants his cut.
So
I don't.
There's a bunch of different areas of revenue. Are you asking how much will YouTube pay me, or how much will I make in
How
total?
much will YouTube pay you?
Probably $3,000,
Okay.
$3,000, just off of YouTube after a couple of days.
And then you can monetize it in other
So we had 2
ways?
sponsors today.
The sponsors.
I don't know the exact rate from those individual sponsors, but it can range from
$1,000.
5 or 10.
5 or 10 grand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. But we're in the off season right now, so rates are low.
Say 5. Sponsors. That's 10.
5's probably a little
13.
on the lower end, but maybe yeah.
13.
Then we have So in direct, then we have the clips from the show. So then we have the audio ad revenue. So YouTube gives us, like $3,000. Then we might sell like between 5 and 10 in sponsorships, which we only recently started doing. We didn't do this before. We regularly took sponsors. Then on the, let me do some quick math on the audio side. It's hard because all of
the audio side. Oh, like a podcast.
yeah, like Spotify and Apple.
Right.
So because that's all of our shows are lumped together, like Inverted World Pop Culture, Tim Pool Culture, like we've got like 7 or 8 different podcasts. I would estimate IRL. Excuse me. So we've probably got,
let's say $20,000
four.
show.
It's probably it's way more than that.
And you do this more than that?
Yeah, because but it's all these different avenues. I mean, we do. I think last.
How many of these do you do a week? 5?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
You probably work 50 weeks a year, roughly.
Yes, only because they make me.
50.
Don't forget his other show too, Gavin.
And don't forget the
another
2
show.
morning shows and the new show and
Oh, this is too complicated. I can't listen.
we
Probably like $4 million a year.
15.
You've done the math.
But that's not IRL. IRL is probably 4.
That's great, because I remember talking to you a long time ago, and someone was like, "You're gonna get banned from YouTube," and you go, "I don't give a shit." And I remember thinking, that's a lot of money to say you don't give a shit about. I can say shit, right?
We try not to swear because people are like watching this on the
give a
TV with their
shoot.
kids in there. But so we've got the Tim Pool Morning Show, which is it breaks down into the Culture War Show. We put up as an audio podcast, which every day, Monday through Thursday, is an interview I do with somebody, and then Fridays is the full debate. And we've done a few of these that have been like audience shows. You were at one of them, so you know what that was.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was super cool. The morning show is me monologuing. So that's one podcast. The Culture War is the second podcast, and then Timcast. So I do 3 shows per day, and it is merciless, it's brutal.
How many hours is that?
I think I do a total of about 5.5 hours of content per day.
Work 5.5 hours a day.
No, I don't work 5.5 hours a day.
5.5 hours of content that gets released.
So 10 hours a day.
16.
Okay, that's not. What's the word?
light
Healthy?
work.
Plausible.
No, it is. I'll tell you my
I'm not
schedule.
saying you're lying.
So I wake up.
Plausible is not the right word.
I wake up at 7:30.
Continuable.
We've been doing this for.
Sustainable. That's the word.
So when I first started the YouTube channel, Timcast, I worked 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. Then in 2020, we launched Timcast IRL, which gave me 2 shows per day. So I worked 7 days a week, but Saturday and Sunday was only 1 show. Monday to Friday was 2 shows. So I was working, usually I'd work from like 7 a.m. until about 4 p.m., and then I'd come back and work from 7 until 10. We added the after show, which puts us to 11 o'clock now. And then with the administrative stuff I have to do in between, I basically wake up at 7:30. Immediately, I'm on my phone looking at notifications, looking at news. Give me about a half an hour to get ready for the day. And then I'm in.
So that's why you don't drink.
Well, I don't drink because that would inhibit my ability to get my work done.
Yeah.
Or do any drugs, I believe.
Yeah.
Straight edge.
Weakness. Weak.
He's a good role model.
But you want
your kids around Tim.
You want to see your kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to see your kids.
Right. That has been a challenge that we've discussed in the past year or so. I now have a daughter. It is increasingly problematic that I'm doing 3 shows plus the administrative work on other shows every single day. And now with the Culture War and the Boonie Skate stuff, its Saturdays are being picked up. And I think I just went to the ER a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to die.
What the fuck?
No, once they start walking, dude, you want to be around, man.
Dude,
I wanna
he
be
was
around
gone for
now.
a few weeks. The audience.
Yeah, I
was
went to
concerned.
the.
There
Well,
were a lot
so
of rumors
basically what
about
happened was
Tim
like when we did that
last
show, I was losing my voice, and I was talking like this. I was sick, and I kept taking ibuprofen to keep working because I'll be damned if I stop working. No one's gonna stop me, and then I went to the ER.
Yeah, you were sick for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know it was brutal. And if I had just taken,
Maybe that was nature going, I want you to be with your baby.
well, I spent 3 weeks somewhat with the baby. I couldn't be sick near the baby, so I was in the other room. But the issue is I got sick, and instead of just saying I better take a week, I was like, I can't take time off. And so I was forced to take a couple days off, and I was coughing and like, ugh. As soon as I was able to talk, I was like, Advil, let's go, baby, back to work. And then worked through the weekend as well with the Saturday show. And then the next week got sick again, and I was like, oh, here we go. Why am I still sick? Ibuprofen. Got sick again, and then 3 weeks of this, And then it was after the final show we did at the Comedy Loft. Monday, I was like, I'm good. Tuesday, I'm feeling sick again. And then that night, Tuesday, my throat was swelling up. By 3 a.m, I was like lying in bed, drenched in sweat. My throat was so swollen, I thought I was going to die. Went to the ER. They gave me steroids to reduce the swelling because my throat was so swollen.
Yeah, we got to fix this business plan. Like $15 million a year. Once you accrue like $100 million, the interest alone is $5 million.
That's not what matters.
I understand, but like let's. I think your fans would be happy with 2 hours a day.
I think I think work must be done, and if I'm not going to do it, who is?
Yeah, you get it in 2 hours. I think
the show sucked without him. We really needed him. The show is so bad.
And don't have a show.
I missed him
2 hours a day. 2 hours a day. Let's.
Yeah, we need our
this.
Tim. Why are you trying to get us off our Tim fence?
I'm trying to get you guys fired. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the opposite going. But
Bro, there's so much wrong with this country and this world right now, and
You can squeeze it in 2 hours a day.
no. You know what I feel like? I feel like sometimes the ship is sinking and I'm bailing water as hard as fast as I can, but the ship is going to sink either way, so it's kind of scary, but you can't stop bailing, you know?
you're the captain. You have to sink with the ship.
Well, I'm talking in the culture where I wouldn't consider myself to be the captain. I'm just someone who's like, if
Who's
I
the
don't...
captain? Alex Jones?
No. No, I mean, you could arguably say Trump, I guess, but I don't know if that makes sense either because the culture war is bigger than just the government. It is what makes civilization for it to exist requires strong men who are willing to work and do whatever it takes, you know?
Yeah, I think 2 hours shows a day is...
How much do you make at censored.tv?
I make about $600,000 a year.
Nice, off of censored.tv.
With Vice, I made $10 million. With Rooster, the ad agency, I made $4 million. So I've got about $30 million in the bank.
Oh, not bad. And you get
So you don't gotta
nice
do anything.
returns on that.
Interest is 5% a year. So I can't spend my interest. And I'm a cheap asshole. I have a pool from Temu.
Why not, though? Like, I'm talking to my wife, and we're going to get those inflatable Walmart pools. You ever see those?
Yeah.
You inflate the ring and then put the hose in it, and it just floats up.
Well, I had a place upstate, and we bought I spent $50,000 on a pool, which upstate is insane because no one has any money. And it was a massive pool with a big deep end. And I bought the house. I was David Cross's neighbor. We bought it together. We were good friends back when I was okay with the hipsters. And I got the house. I built the house myself. I designed it, $400,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is in upstate New York. And then I spent another $50,000 on a pool. I sold the place for $400,000. No one wanted the pool. Pools don't increase your value. Nope. So in this house, I got like an $1,800 pool on Amazon that could be torn out tomorrow. And like the deck was $150,000. The pool was $1,800.
Wow.
My view on everything. So let me provide some context to the numbers and everything for the people that are listening. I don't personally put $15 million in my pocket every year. Almost all of the money, the overwhelming majority, goes towards paying staff, building infrastructure, working on projects.
Sorry, when I said I make that, I meant censored.tv grosses that.
Yeah.
Right. So after all the costs, I would say I do well, but I've said this before, I've explained it before, and some people get mad at me for saying it. If I didn't do Timcast IRL and literally only did my morning show, I'd probably make $5 million a year with zero staff and no overhead.
Great, sold. Do it.
Why?
More time with your family.
Sure, and then the world burns down.
I'm glad he has this ambition and love for the game. Why are you trying to put us out of business?
No, you'll still don't fire these guys. But that's a lot of Tim. 2 hours a day.
Yeah. One argument is that I've actually produced too much content and it's diluting.
Yeah.
And
I've had, I'm not in your league, obviously, but I've had guys say, stop doing your shows 3 hours long. I'm way behind. I'm like 2 weeks behind. So I've gone down to an hour 20 a day because people usually commute to work for 40 minutes and they commute back 40 minutes and then we stay caught up with each other.
So there's a couple different ways to look at it. One is if I put out 50, I think we probably do, let me do some quick math. We do 4, 5, 11. I think it's 11 individual segments each day plus a 1 hour morning show and a 3 hour nightly show. And so what happens is one individual can only watch about 40 minutes per day of content.
Yeah.
And so if I were to stop doing everything and do one 1 hour show, that 1 hour show would get 2 or 3 million views. Because what's happening is it's a diminishing return. While we're getting, I think we're getting like 2.5 to 3 million per day. I think it's like 3.5 to 4 actually, because of the audio stuff too. I'm not including, but it's spread out over all these different avenues. So an individual person watches a lot of Tim Pool content, but it's a ton of different videos. So each individual video is getting 50 to 100K.
They'd find their way to you.
Well, the idea is if we got rid of it all and I did 2 videos, everybody would watch that one
Correct.
video and it would get 1 million views.
Yes.
I'd still make the same amount of money.
Yeah. And you'd have all that time with your daughter. Again, these guys are glaring at me.
All right.
I'm not hire them.
You make a great point, Gavin.
No,
It's
just
been
got
fun.
him back. Dude.
I'm gonna pay you guys out. I got a couple $100 right here, and Phil, the show is all yours.
All right.
Back to Phil and Cast.
But the point of like a big part of the reason, well, he's gone now.
And you're a rock star, sir. You have some money in the bank too. I'm by far the brokest person at
Don't hate the
There's a
player.
dude in the chat yelling at me already. Like this is like the weirdest, craziest thing about
hell
working in
is
this
that?
industry. You know. Look, I could be like these other personalities and just never tell anybody anything about what's going on behind the scenes or how the machine operates. People are like, how much money you make? Like, wouldn't you like to know? I'll never say. And it's like, because people get mad at you if you tell them the truth.
Yeah,
These numbers are standard for the industry too.
No, I think I'm better at than most people.
Like the Ben Shapiro's, the Michael Knowles, the other people who do
but
sponsors, other YouTubers.
you're talking about the very, very top there.
Yeah,
because like Tim is in the class of like the people at Daily
A-tier
Wire,
stream.
but then there's like an infinite number of people that are way that you don't even register. You don't even think about it, right? When people are thinking of bands, they think of like the big bands, but like. The bands that are beneath them are almost infinite. A point I wanted to make is part of the reason why he does this show. This show is one that actually consistently attracts people that give him access to, like, he interviewed the president. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to interview the president, or likely wouldn't have had the opportunity if it wasn't for
disagree.
IRL. You think so?
Yeah, before we launched IRL, the one podcast I had was called the Tim Pool Morning Show, the Tim Pool Daily Show, which still exists, but it was the 34th biggest podcast in the world on all platforms. That was like the peak height. And it was, several episodes, sometimes it'd be in the top 10 or whatever. When we launched IRL, it split the audience, which reduces both podcasts from the top rankings.
So,
Because if you're getting a couple 100,000 on each show, if you do one show, you get 500, you're number one.
What if YouTube got super woke again and was like, he's
Rumble?
dead to us? You got Rumble, and that's
the audio podcast makes a lot of money too.
So you don't need YouTube.
Nah. Yeah.
this is a huge psyop, Gavin.
So let me say this. Timcast IRL can't exist without my morning show subsidizing it. Timcast IRL is too expensive to exist.
And the morning is on your Rumble?
So I do on YouTube in the morning. I'll put up 4 segments on youtube.com/TimcastNews, and then at noon on Rumble, I do a full hour, which the first half an hour is the story of the day, followed by an interview.
Right, but my question was, what if YouTube was like, F him, he's dead to us?
Yeah, if I just put the audio version up,
That wouldn't really affect your income. It would, but not devastating.
No, I mean it would be, but like if YouTube banned us outright across the board, all channels, Timcast IRL wouldn't exist anymore. It's not sustainable. Everybody would lose their jobs. I would host a morning show podcast, and I'd be wealthy.
Gavin.
That's right.
Before I worked here, Gavin
get
tried to
Elliot.
hire me. So this
Well,
is what
actually,
it
I'll
is.
put it like this: the offers that I've had for bouts, because we're independently, like as an independent company from the ground up, from its get go. I'd imagine if I got banned across the board on all platforms, like they just said, your channels are gone, you don't make money. Assuming I wasn't persona non grata, I'd end up at one of these networks.
Well, wait a minute. What
Fox
about,
News.
I'm sorry to bore the
maybe.
viewers with. This is the thing about men.
Let me just stress: it's a very slow news day.
Like
and this might be the most interesting.
When women talk to each other, I've noticed they're like, "Oh my god, I want to go home and just like have a bath and put on my sweatpants and go Netflix and chill." And when men talk, they're like, "So what do? You sanitation? So wouldn't it make sense to pick up the stuff early in the day? Like you skip the heat, and then you could do like maybe a second run later or something." So I'm sorry to bore everyone at home, but I just love everyone else's job. What about timpool.com and everyone pays $5 a month?
We do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a Discord community. And so a good portion of the revenue we generate is from our community members. And so that's why.
If you went 100% into that, then no one could get you anywhere else. You'd obviously
That's why we
lose
did it.
thousands, maybe millions of people, but still.
So here's the thing. YouTube is a big driver of new users. It's hard to grow on the audio podcast side. Word of mouth is how podcasts get attention. That's just really it. And with the rapid expansion in the market of more and more people easily making podcasts, everybody's trying to do it. It's saturating, and everybody's viewership is going down. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
With AI content, this is happening as well. So let's say this. Tomorrow, YouTube says all your YouTube channels are gone. We would probably still exist for 2 years because we have a community, but the community has a standard attrition rate, and without functional marketing to build that community.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
You start slowly going down.
I'm dying like bone cancer because I can't advertise. I tried advertising on Twitter and they're like, I know who you are. Fuck you. Or F you.
Buy billboards. They're cheap and they work.
Okay.
We've got 100 billboards across the US, and it is crazy. So we did a few in Times Square a couple years ago. We actually got the whole North Tower on New Year's. It was amazing. And I bought a billboard above ABC News because I had worked for ABC News, and I thought it would be the greatest, like, look at me now. Because these people they're woke, they're lunatics, they're
How
liars.
much is an ABC News tower?
The billboard that we put above ABC News in Times Square for 1 month was $30,000. And it was
Not crazy. 24 hours a day?
It's a vinyl physical billboard that was there 24/7
Wow.
for 1 month. And they gave me an extension for half off because nobody was buying it, which is crazy. And it's 45 feet wide. And so they gave it to us. We have it in a big box. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like it wouldn't even fit in the
Pull it
building
out on the lawn.
So there's options like that, but so here's what I say to people. Like, the reason why I say I'm always like I don't do it as often, but like, hey, join the Timcast Discord is because Timcast IRL requires travel and accommodation for our guests. We don't do digital, the Zoom calls, because they don't work the same. You don't get the Gavin swinging the mic and
Yeah, you can't see the eyes.
or the guy smacking the microphone, screaming, I'm not that guy, things like that. So we want to invite people out. We built the building from scratch, which I don't think is fair to include in our hard costs, but staffing, infrastructure, server racks, like there's a lot that goes into it. And even then, it's a struggle to keep all the plates spinning.
Okay, here's a controversial thing and I'm of two minds about this, but Gen Z complains about no opportunities and how, boomers could buy a house for 12 grand and they have to work their asses off and they have student debt. And I totally agree with that. But on the other hand, and I'm like, I grew up middle class, but I did eat out of the garbage. And with Vice, like we were piling in Vice newsprints into a rented minivan till the axles were scraping. My dad and I were driving to like Guelph, Ontario and unloading these things at 4 a.m, for years. So, and I was a tree planter and a bike messenger, and I'm not bragging about what I went through, but part of me is like, you guys did get fucked, Gen Z. You did get dug into a hole, but you also have to be able to eat poop to get out of that hole. Like that, you saw that viral Jubilee video with the guy with the Viking haircut, and Patrick, what's his name, Bet David, was like, I'll give you a job right now. And the guy was like, well, I'll research your company. And it's like, dude, if you're broke, lay bricks, like do any work, clean out porta potties until you can get some money in the bank. So I think the curse of Gen Z is, on the one hand, they're correct that they're totally settled with insane debt and have no chance of making a place like this. But on the other hand, I don't think they have the work ethic to build a place like this.
Generally speaking, yeah. Like this, we have Gen Z people here who do have the work ethic, but it's nothing's absolute.
Like, remember Occupy Wall Street? I wanted to get one of those guys and be like, all right, you're right. These pigs, they're making all this money. Let's live with them. in Montauk in their giant homes because they're so rich. You got to get up at 3 a.m. to get down to Wall Street to get the China markets.
Can I tell you a story?
And then, by the way, let me finish. You got to go out for lunch, drink bourbon, and wine and dine your clients. Then you got to go back to work. Then you got to schmooze your clients at dinner. Like, it's a 15-hour day.
Let me tell you about Occupy Wall Street. So farmland was gifted to the occupiers. Many people don't know this. And, I was friends with a lot of these people. So they said, hey, get off the grid. Be sustainable. Don't contribute to the pollution and the climate change and the rat race. Get away from that. Don't you know that peasants got half the year off? Why don't you come take the farmland and live the way humans are supposed to live? How long do you think they lasted?
I think I know this story. I believe it was like 3 months.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And this is a friend of mine. And I saw her after she got back. And then I was like, oh, you're back. And she was like, yeah, it wasn't really for me. And I said, why not? And she's like, dude, I had to wake up at 6 a.m. and I went to bed at midnight. It was crazy. You had to work nonstop all day, every single day with no days off. And I was like, yeah.
That's communism, by the way.
It is, but it's also just how humans have lived for hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of years. Yeah. But no, they much prefer to be living off of welfare and trust funds and
grants.
That's like
the new episode of White Lotus. Piper, what's her name? She's this rich girl. She wants to become a Buddhist, and she tries it out for like one night, and she's like, "It's hot. The food sucks." And that's who's going to elect Zoran Mamdani. Mm-hmm. Is these rich girls that they have a justified gripe. By the way, I'm not lying about their gripe. They are right that things are unaffordable, but when it comes time to fucking fix the problem, it sucks.
So I think with the cultural crisis and the fertility crisis. By cultural crisis, I mean Gen Z having a less than average work ethic. And again, I'm not ragging on all Gen Z. There's a ton of Gen Z with tremendous work ethic. A lot of them are becoming more religious. A lot of them more conservative. But as a generation, millennials and then slightly more Gen Z, miserable work. Like I actually think millennials may be worse than Gen Z. They're awful. You
know what you should do? Sorry to interrupt. You got to Mr. Beast this problem. And you get someone to wear a beanie and a black T-shirt. Someone who's like, fuck Tim Pool. He's making all this money. What the fuck? He doesn't deserve. Sorry for that. F Tim Pool. And then you have to sit next to him to make it worth it, or people are going to go, you just went on vacation. And then you have that guy do your exact shifts and go through the news, the Marriage Effect, the Atlantic, and for like 2 weeks and watch him and be like, dude, wake up. It's 7 a.m. We got to rock. Let's go through the news stories and watch him just crumble.
Fall apart.
Did
you watch the PBD versus the anti-capitalists debate?
Yeah.
And they're like, I shouldn't have to do any work. Give me food.
Let me research your company, he says.
Yeah.
He tried to give them all sorts of legs up. He tried to help every single person. They're like, no, I don't want to.
Well, so this is what I'm saying about the cultural crisis and the population crisis. We simultaneously have, with Gen Alpha, the oldest being 15, they're going to be coming in the next couple of years as the low-skilled labor, like literally next year, 16-year-olds. 18-year-olds should be entering university and getting entry-level jobs. They won't be. Not only are there half of them, but their generation is fried from the iPad, Elsagate, psychotic garbage that was being funneled to their mouths when they were babies.
Yep.
You combine that with Gen Z's skill gap. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I mean, with Gen Alpha, you had the COVID stuff where they weren't seeing faces. They weren't learning how to read. They can't read now. Teachers are talking about they can't do math and they can't read. With Gen Z, have y'all seen the video of the fire at the Dunkin' Donuts?
No.
Dunkin' Donuts, the toaster goes on fire, and this Gen Z woman,
I did see that.
she takes the back of a plastic broom and wiggles it over the fire. Oh my God. And you're just like, whoa, what is happening?
Competence crisis.
I saw a video tonight, or I saw a video today of a dude that gave the cash register. He gave him a $50 bill, and he's like, I just want to break this. And he gave him a 20, a 10, and 2 5s, and he's like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, that's wrong.
Well,
blah,
20 and 10 and 2 5s is wrong.
5s, yeah. but he's like, no, that's not. He's like, you owe me more money, and the guy couldn't count it together. It's like, how is it that you wouldn't be able to sit there and just?
So it's like two problems at once. It's this influx of cousin marrying incompetence. And then it's also our own incompetence.
Our culture did this. So what happens when you're saying, you get out of this work ethic? What am I supposed to do when I need this is a big problem that we're facing as a company. There's a natural cycle of every company that has ever existed. Okay, somebody who gets a job at your company when they're 20 has different needs than when they're 30. So you hire a 20-year-old and he's doing computer basic work and you're paying him, 40 a year or whatever. And he's like, wow, I'm making so much money. And I'm talking about years ago. And then 10 years goes by and they get their standard inflationary raise. Maybe they get a promotion. Now they're like, look, I'm getting married. I got to buy a house. This isn't enough money for me anymore. And I have tons of experience. I need a raise. And you say, okay, well, here's the thing. I need someone to run the computers. You need a better job. There's two things we can do. You can go to a company and say, I have 10 years of experience doing these computer things. I'm at a higher level now. Hire me to do this. And I'll hire a new young person to come in and take your computer job because you're beyond it now, right? Or I can advance you and give you promotion to the next level of the company. If the company doesn't expand and I don't need that next level, that person needs to go work at a different company. That's just a normal thing. I say, bro.
Sound like you're speaking from personal experience.
This is normal for all businesses everywhere, all the time.
Yes.
I hire a 16-year-old to sweep the floors. By the time he's 18, he's plugging things in. He's setting up TVs. By the time he's 18, he's the full facilities manager. Or by the time he's 20. And then he's saying, look, I'm going to get married in a couple of years. I need to buy a house. And I'll be like, you need to go apply somewhere where they have the growth opportunity.
I had that problem
with
with my previous producer, Ryan. Great guy, but he kept breeding. And I was like, okay, this job is, if you really whittled it down, you could get down to 20 hours a week. But he was up to like 40. And I'm like, that's not my problem. But then, a great guy, I'm not disparaging him, but he kept having kids and kept, needing a bigger place, which he did. He's with Sam Hyde now. He's doing great. So God bless his cotton socks. But
But you need to bring in.
A lot of Zoomers will go like, I need this much more money. I got these many kids. I need a bigger house. And you're like, yeah, but that's not what the job dictates. I'm not your dad.
But so this is my recommendation. Okay, you've been here for X amount of years. Start looking at other companies that have a job at the next level that pay more.
Also, you are what you're worth.
Right. But here's the thing. I mean, that's what you need to do. And then I'll hire someone to do sweeping the floors, right? The problem is there is no next generation to sweep the floors. And of the people we do have, they're incompetent. So we are facing a managerial collapse. Like
here at Timcast right now, or you're being hypothetical?
Oh, definitely here. I mean, it is miserable. I just brought my buddy here from Chicago. He just started with us, and he's going to be doing management. And he's like C-suite level guy. He's like a very capable guy, and so he's going to be helping us out. But we've had management problems since the get-go. And I know this, and that's my lack of ability. I don't have the ability to do it.
No, it's not, Tim. You're a creative guy, so you need a they pronounce it comptroller, but it's pronounced controller. You need like a controller, an office manager. That's not your job.
Well, so the issue is I do it all. I do everything.
That's not good.
And we're at the point now where it's like as far as a mom and pop media shop can go. So either and I talked about this a year ago, we go to venture capital and we say, we need investment not because we're broke. We need investment because we need corporate level management to come and straighten things out and fix.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because look what happened with Vice.
I know.
With A&E.
And that's why we don't do it.
Or did you ever see that Tower Records doc? Tower Records built on cocaine, by the way. This too shall pass. Everyone at Tower Records used to build shelves and put up for records, and then they built CD shelves and everything. And their head of their accounting, whatever, used to like sell, fucking replacement CDs. Then one day they decided, you know what, we're so big now, and they survived MP3s, they survived disco, they were a rock company. They could not survive hiring CEOs like the A&E chick that took over Vice.
Oh,
and it destroyed them.
Are we allowed to talk about Vice?
Yeah.
So I can tell you what, I was only there for about just over a year. But of course, when I got hired, it was largely Shane, Sarouche, and Eddie. It was basically like Eddie directly. And then Shane was a bit passive, but I basically would like talk to Shane about stuff periodically. A lot of people there were like, how do you talk to Shane? It's like he's walking down. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? It's like 100 people working. He's right there. Just go talk to him. So friends of mine who were working executive level, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, said that what happened was there had been a string of individuals who had accused Shane and others of sexual harassment or assault or something, and that they had settled. This story came out, I think, in the New York Times, talking about the settlements and how these women were under NDA, and they were like, release them from their NDAs and stuff like this. When Vice took this big investment, starting with Fox, then of course A&E, Hearst, which is
Viacom,
etc.
Yeah.
What was it? WPP, I believe. Wire and Plastic Products, or what are the companies called?
I don't know. That must have been after my time.
Maybe. So what ends up? This is what I was told, that with these stories about the bro club, the patriarchy, and the sexual harassments, assaults, etc., Vice was going to get hurt. And the people who invested, these big companies, didn't want to see their investments get knocked down. So what happened is the investors, Disney basically, went to Vice and said, you will be a feminist brand and you will embrace the left and what they're saying. Otherwise, we're going to lose all our money because you guys are looked at as right-winger, bro, patriarchy, frat boys. And they went, sure, whatever you say. Brought in a female CEO, shifted the narrative of the company from edgy punk rock into feminism. There's a really great example. So I was talking to one of the producers at Vice about, there's an article and it said, this horrifying app will show you any woman topless. And what the app did was you took a picture of a woman and then it would automatically generate, and this is 8 years ago, it would remove her shirt and then put a different image of a topless woman. And I was talking to this producer and I said, you know where the company went wrong? Do you know what the headline of that article would have been in 2008? This amazing app will show you any woman topless. And then you guys decided to be high school hall monitors, angry about everything, and people stopped reading and stopped watching.
Especially young people, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, stop telling me what to do and stop yelling at me.
I resent that whole bro culture accusation, because Vice was built on like The Clash. It was built on punk rock. And if you talk to any girl who worked there in the 90s or early aughts, they'll say it was the funnest place ever. Like, we would go out with these girls and party. There was not fucking the interns thing. That was like a finance bro thing. We were friends with the interns. Now, what I've learned later is, or what I've been told later, is that Shane was regularly, this is just allegedly, I don't want to violate any NDAs, but was regularly sexually assaulting women under my nose. And I think that was sort of leaked into bro culture somehow. And I think one possibility that I've been told is that he said, all right, the hammer's about to come down on me hard for all of this sexual assault. So I'm going to have A&E chick take over. So when the hammer comes down, I'm like, I'm not even the guy anymore.
Yep.
It's, what's her name? What is her name again?
Dubik or something?
Dubik, yeah.
But she, I think she left too. I mean, the company's basically dead.
Well, here's what I heard about the company. I'll get that in a sec. So I met these moms, and they were like, yeah, we used to make fun of her. We used to like these moms at a daycare in, I don't know, Red Hook or something. She was known as so retarded that they would be friends with her like as a joke to get her quote. She was known as the dumb mom at the drop-off. But I did hear with Vice post all of this shit that some Australian dude bought it for like $25 million.
When?
2 years ago, a year ago.
What, from $7 billion?
Yeah. And he keeps it alive right now. This is just what I've heard. He keeps it alive right now with like 3 issues a year with the staff of like 5. And they have a website that's sort of the same. And I think his goal is to sell it for like $26 million, which is good. You made $1 million, but it's no $7 billion, $300 billion.
Was it ever really?
No.
Right.
It was always a balloon.
Yep. That's what all the employees thought. They thought it was a pump and dump. That and again, it
was a balloon in fear of a pin.
So most of the employees that I knew when I was there, and after I left, like obviously I'm still friends with a lot of these people, even I still know some of them today. They were basically saying Shane is doing everything he can to make it seem like we're bigger than we are, to pump up the value and get the valuation really, really big. And so everybody was just like, it's like a private pump and dump. make it the media darling, tell everybody we're the future, raise a bunch of money, then liquidate some of your equity in the company to make yourself rich, and then that was what people were saying about it.
When we were back in Montreal, we'd be doing coke and getting wasted, and he'd put his lips like on my ear, and he'd be like, "We are gonna be so rich."
Well, he wasn't wrong.
We are gonna, and I was like, "Okay, but it's Friday night. We worked our asses off all week. Let's relax. Let's talk to girls. Let's enjoy ourselves. We are gonna be so rich." And
But what was happening? This was in Montreal, you said?
yeah, this is pre.
Right. What was happening in Montreal where you were making tons of money?
We weren't. We lived in the office. But Shane, and I've known him since I was 12, he just had this ability to like shuffle, man. He's just a hustler. And
Yeah.
There's a weird thing
sad, dude.
about Gen X. What are you? You're a millennial?
Yeah.
There's a weird thing about Gen X where salesmen are the worst, biggest losers in the world. They're disgusting, and and I don't know why that is. I respect salesmen. They pay my bills. They put a roof over my head. They're the reason that I have money in the bank. I never disparage salesmen. I've tried it. I cannot do it, man. It's like modern dance. Like, I don't know how they do it. That's modern dance is a bad analogy because modern dance is obviously retarded. It's like tap dancing. Like, I can't do that. Yeah. And Shane, unfortunately, grew up in a culture where he was the greatest salesman of all time. If he was born in the 50s, it'd be Mad Men, Don Draper. He'd be a god. 60s. But then something with our generation, my generation, I should say, with used car salesmen, where selling things was like disgusting and petty and lying. So I think he always resented that he was the sales guy. So he's like, I'm going to get rid of Gavin because he's a content guy. I'll be the content guy. And then I think after a few years, he went, my heart's not in this. I don't.
It's sad
sales.
because I remember there was around the time I was there, I think he posted a picture of you, him, and Sarush, and it's like you guys were at a party or something, and I'm like, that's so sad, man. You guys were like best friends, started a company together, and then the band broke up, you know?
Well, I fell in love with my girlfriend, and I proposed to her, and that was the end of the triumvirate. And that's always a problem with work. That's why the Koreans are so smart to go out.
Right? Don't drink, don't do drugs. Here I am working.
No, the opposite. The Koreans and the Japanese, they go and get shit hammered on Friday night, and they rebond. But we were like, we'd go on vacation together. We bought a house together, and then I fell in love with this squaw, and I went that way, and then they were like, well, fuck you. F you, I mean.
Well, so yeah, how did it come to be? What's the short version of how you ended up leaving Vice?
Oh my God, I've never told this story before, but I've had some beers. It was the worst experience of my entire life. Well, no, I've had my baby, my son, my youngest boy, he got an infection in his thigh and had to have like a surgery. That was the worst. But this is up there. So my thing with Vice was always open floor plan. If someone's on the phone, you can hear them. Now, I do want animosity with sales and editorial. So they're at different parts of the office, but there's no secrets. And corporate doesn't have their own offices. I got this from Mars Bar, Frank Mars. He doesn't have his own office. He would just work with, he drove a Honda Civic, and he was with the people. So that was always the business plan. And I think Shane and Sarush reluctantly just followed that because like, he seems really into it, whatever.
When I believe right before I got there, that's how it was. And Shane's desk was in the room with like everybody else.
Oh, maybe they changed it because it's not when
Fox.
You were 2010. I was out at 2008.
13.
Okay, so this I'm talking about is like 2007 or 6.
When I got in at 2013, the first time they showed me, this is a few months before I got hired, they showed me the office. Shane's desk was just in a big row of tables next to everybody else.
No way.
But then the Murdoch money came in, and they built new offices. And
okay, so this thing I'm talking about happened, and then it was reversed, and then it happened again.
So just tell what happened. What was your story?
So I came. We were fighting about something. It was some bullshit. I don't know, and that's another story. But I come into the office, and I was mad at them for this thing where they got lawyers involved. I'll tell that story in a bit. But I come in, and they've built like this glass office that's about half the size of this room.
The bare room.
Yeah, with tables in it. And I'm like, what's going on? We now have a corporate room? And I go, where's my desk? And they go, oh, there's no room. There's Saul, the manager, there's Sarush, Shane, and me, and there's no room for you. And I started having a panic attack, and I was like sweating. I went outside. I called my dad for some reason. I was like, Dad, there's no room for my desk. And my dad is like grew up poor, and he's very risk averse. He's like, just tell them you're sorry. Say it's okay, my boy. Get your desk in that room, my boy. And we never recovered from that. I said to Shane, I go like, let's drink a bottle of whiskey. Again, I've known this guy since I was 12. Yeah. I was like 30 at that point. And I go, let's just finish a bottle of whiskey and get it all out. And I realized when we did that, it took him like 12 days to say yes. We did that. I was the only one sipping the bottle. So I think I drank an entire bottle of whiskey. And he was like pretending to drink it out of having a water. I went careening down the stairs of his apartment. I was like, I think I broke my neck that night and self-repaired or something. No, I fucked myself up going down the stairs.
Was that where he was basically saying we're cutting you out or what?
Oh, dude, we're really opening a Pandora's box here, and I got to piss. So I think what happened was his family, like when he was a young man, his parents got divorced. I got to go piss.
All right, I'll pat her.
But
you go run to the bathroom.
But basically, Shane is one of these people, and I'm similar, where once we like draw the line, once it's over, it's fucking over. Yeah. Like you could save my daughter drowning. Fuck you. Give me my daughter back. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, part 2 coming soon after Gavin comes back from the bathroom. So I was only there for about just like a little bit over a year. And at the time, it was really interesting. They were producing these documentaries that were massive, if you guys remember them. Mm-hmm. And it was edgy, and it was cool, like the bulletproof clothing one where they basically went and met a guy. Yep. He wore a trench coat and they shot it. Or the scopolamine one where they did nothing. They literally just bought it and flushed down the toilet, but everybody wanted to watch it.
It was just like cool new age journalism. And I remember the reporters going to crazy places and doing like drugs or experimenting or exploring different drugs in crazy different cultures. North Korea.
Suicide Forest in Japan.
All this crazy
I field produced the North Korea Diaries documentary for Vice. Let me see if I can find that one. North Korea Diaries, Vice. I didn't go to North Korea. I went to New Zealand. And this one's got 6 million views. Kind of wild. I was field producer on this one. So I went and actually did the interview with the people who went to North Korea. It was actually in New Zealand. And the issue that I had at the company, so I'll just wrap mine up because Gavin's back, is when I joined them, I was like having the launch of my career. I was featured in Time magazine. I got a bunch of these accolades. I was featured in Time Person of the Year, was the protester, and I was one of 6 features. So they were like, the protester won, and here are features, and I was one of them. And then they featured me as one of their most influential like social media personalities in February, and so I was getting all this attention. GQ did like a 6-page feature on me. So I went to Vice, I went to Al Jazeera, I went to Google, basically pitched them all and said like, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing. But Vice was the shining city on the hill, right? Everybody wanted to work there. So after like 6 months of negotiating, I said, listen, I do this live thing, I do the social media thing. You guys don't do it. I do field reporting. You guys don't do it. You bring me in and have me do this, like the field reporting for the North Korea stuff and Kim.com, and I'll do the live stuff for you. And then together, you guys will help build me up, and then I'll give you guys what I have. And they agreed. And then after a year, they weren't getting me the other end of the bargain. So I had done a handful of documentaries, but it was heavy lifting. And let's just say they got me about 70% of the way there, so I was relatively happy. But the third time I went and said, hey, guys, this is not enough. This is not what I was asking for. You're only 70%. First response from Shane was, Tim, we're going to give you more money. How does that sound? And I say, it's a start. But the money isn't the issue. The issue is we're not producing enough and doing enough on the ground. So eventually I got an offer and I ended up quitting. And they just didn't deliver on their end of the bargain. So that's why I ended up leaving. That being said, shortly after, some of the people that I knew who had gotten jobs, I instantly started seeing the corporatization and the wokeification. And within a couple of years of me having left, reporters at Vice who I had worked with were telling me to stop reporting and not to travel the world and cover the stories that I'd been covering before because it would be offensive or because it would help Donald Trump or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to the company. So I'm like, I guess I got it at the right time.
I think they also got infiltrated with true wanted sex changes. So they go, let's unionize. Part of unionization is we want free Medicare. Okay, that sounds reasonable. If you get a big sore on your. I want you to get antibiotics. Get an ingrown hair, whatever. And then it's like, no, I want to reverse my genitalia for 160 grand.
Well, that's a
Annual
tangent.
salary is 60, so
Let's go back. I mean, can you explain the details of like how you left Vice then?
so
You're stumbling down the stairs. You drank a bunch of whiskey.
yeah, that was me trying to fix things. That was me asking what happened with his secretary, and there was a lot of weirdness there. There's never one true catalyst with this kind of thing, right? It's sort of like divorce. So it's never like I did this or he said that. But there was me getting married and the triumvirate was failing. I wasn't with them anymore. But there was one, I went to an American Renaissance conference and David Duke was there. And, this is my job. I got to go to weird stuff. And this is before selfies, so people believed you when you said stuff. So I go to the bar at the conference, and David Duke was there. They all hated him. They kicked him out, I believe. But as a joke, I was like, I remember I said it to Kenny Hotz of Kenny versus Spenny, and I said it to this other guy, Trevor, and someone else, and I go, hey, I'm with my best friend David Duke at the bar. And it's a weird thing to say now because no one would believe you. But back then, they're like, what the hell? So one of my friends was like, stab him. Kenny Hotz thought it was hilarious. My wife was freaked out. I think she was my girlfriend then. And she was like, what are you doing? You need to be stopped. You're out of control. And I go, it's called funny. We're not getting married. So they wrote me this big legal document saying, if you ever do anything like that again, you're done. And we obviously had always been handshake guys. I still am a handshake guy. I manage a boxer. I'm not registered as his manager. We're just handshake guys. So I was really mad at them for not discussing it and making it a contract that said, if you ever do anything as terrible as that ever again, we're going to forcefully sell your shares. So I couldn't look at them for 5 days. I worked from home for 5 days. And then I was doing bumps with my Negro friend Derek in the bathroom at a bar party. And Shane tried to come in, and Derek was like, Shane's trying to get in. And I was like, ugh. And I pushed the door closed. That was $100 million push. Where Shane, in his mind, was just like, shh. He's dead to me. Wow. So the drinking the bottle of whiskey was after that.
Yeah.
But when I pushed that door closed, he was like, you're dead to me. And I think it's because his childhood, my dad was actually his dad's boss. And there was this bizarre project in the Caribbean where Computing Devices Canada was doing a contract. And there's black pussy everywhere, and there's these boomers. Boomers were really into infidelity, right? Key parties and everything.
Yeah.
So they were like, I think his dad was like, he sees all this black pussy, and he's like, hey, Glenda, to his wife, let's have an open relationship. And she's a farm girl from southwestern Ontario, so she's like, okay, whatever that is. So she starts boning black tennis instructors with giant dreads who were ripping her pussy to shreds, and he can't get laid to save his life. So they get divorced. She remarries some super nice, awesome guy who's a good boy, like Hank Hill from King of the Hill with the mustache. And Shane hates him. And they get into a fight, and he's like, I'm the boss of this house now. And Shane's like, fuck you. So he moves in with his dad. His dad was on a revenge tear, as far as I'm concerned, for the bitches who fucking suck too much cocks. Oh, shit. Sorry.
You got to turn the volume down a little bit.
So she wasn't on a sex bender. She was a normal lady. She found a new man. She found Hank Hill. But he, the dad, went on this bender. He effed all my mom's friends and ruined their lives, ripped them off. He was a terrible man. And I think Shane grew up just seeing women as second-class citizens, but also having this line in the sand, if you F me over, you're dead to me.
How did you guys make so much money? In the early days, before that they cashed you out for $10 million, you said?
Shane was just unbelievable at CEO whispering. Like your guess is as good as mine, but one theory I have is CEOs are all nerds and losers, and we were like the cool guys. He would call the CEOs on Saturdays and be like, "Hey man, we're going to this like party in Austin by the water, and there's gonna be a bunch of chicks there." And the CEO is like, "But you're not benefiting from this meeting." And they'd come down in their like little Lululemon shorts, and they were thrilled that Shane put them on the map.
Yeah. Got to hang out with the cool kids.
You got to hang out with the cool kids.
Yep. Yeah.
That's just a guess.
But I mean, like, you guys were selling ads. There were sales, there were deals.
Well, this is crazy. So back in the early days, most of our clients were record labels. And the people who ran record labels, as far as ad sales go, were women. And they would want sex for ads. This is the thing. Women talk about Me Too and everything. No one abuses power more than boomer women, older women, short-haired women.
Short-haired women.
Beard
They get a haircut.
cuts. Yeah, they have the little pixie cut, and they have this exact body, my body, with like weird sideways tits. And Shane himself used to say, we ate our way to the top. He would bone all these sales sales moms,
And then they would buy ads.
and they would buy ads.
Wow.
And we had a graphic design firm that would do most of our ads called Heliozilla in Toronto. And I swear I'll die on this. I think one of the guys at Heliozilla invented the term cougar.
Really?
Because he did it too. They all did it. We all did it. They would.
Secret of the 90s.
They were like cougars. They'd ravage you.
Where like you guys are like late 20s, early 30s, and you're going to these 40-year-old women being like,
Dude, mid-20s. I didn't bone any of them. That was Shane's job. But he told me this story once. It still makes, I have this like PTSD. If anyone ever goes like this to me, I'll murder them. Because he was having dinner with this woman. She shows up in a limousine, pixie cut, of course. He's like, here we go. He goes downstairs. They go have dinner. And during the dinner, she's eating her shrimp that's paid for by Universal. And she goes like this.
to you?
No, to him.
Oh.
He told me the story later. And that means put your hand in mine.
Oh, man.
Like, I'd rather be shot in the arm than someone go. So he has to, like, as he's eating his shrimp, put his hand in hers, and she just, like, squeezes it.
And now you have $10 million from that deal, and he made, how many tens of millions?
Probably $200 million. I think he spent $100 million on blackjack.
Yeah. No, I've heard those stories. Yeah, so there was one moment, I think it was when I was there, that there was a news story was written about how he won $300,000 gambling.
Yeah,
And everyone was like, there's a picture of him with all this money. And I was like, guys, how much did he spend?
exactly. Dude, if you made $300,000 gambling, playing blackjack, you lost $3 million. It's just math. If someone won $3 gambling, you
Now, hold on.
lost
I got a
$30.
system. Okay, I swear.
Dude, David Cho was like that when he got his $100 million from Facebook. He would have his buddy go to different blackjack tables and feel the vibe.
Jeez.
And then he would come back and go, that's a winning table. And David Cho swears to this day that it worked and he made tens of millions of dollars. No, you didn't.
Yeah, sure.
You forgot the money you've effing lost.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He did make tens of millions of dollars. He just lost tens of millions more.
Yes. It's called, and you know what? With sales guys, selective memory is very effective because they go, no, your product sucks. No, your product sucks. No. And when people say that to me, I'm like, F you, my product rules. You want to fight?
You know what the secret to sales is? You just imitate the other person.
Well, you can also take no for an answer. I can't take no for an answer.
Salespeople?
Salespeople can take it.
I would describe it like this. In sales, you've got a very sharp edge. There's no middle ground. You have to know when you're wasting your time and know when not to say no. So I used to do fundraising for nonprofits.
Okay.
I would never talk to somebody who I could just look at and know was not going to donate to me. And so me and my friends, we're the top fundraisers in the nation for like Greenpeace. I think I was like number 5 in the nation for Greenpeace. And it's not necessarily just that I'm a good salesman. That was a component of it. But it was I knew who not to talk to. So it's not about whether you take no for an answer. If I see somebody and I know they're a donor, I won't take no for an answer because I can already tell that they're going to donate. And if they're not, I'm saying something wrong. So I got to figure out what to say and how to say it.
Okay, so that was probably Shane's skill.
Yep.
And I just I don't have that DNA. And
you go to a meeting with someone and you can just see it in their face and their body. And before you even make the pitch, you go, I can tell it's a waste of time. Have a nice day. And you leave. And you don't waste any time with people who aren't going to be doing deals with you. We're going to go to Super Chats and Rumble Rants, my friends. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. And of course, no tax on Super Chats anymore, up to $25,000. So, there you go. It's good news. Thanks, President Trump. We're going to have that uncensored show coming up for you in 20 minutes. Not that this already wasn't pretty close to it or over the line anyway. It was fun. We'll get into
about those F words.
But we're going to read what you guys have to say. And join our Discord server at timcast.com. You got to hear Gavin beg me to quit and me explain why I wouldn't. So if you think I should not quit, then the most important thing in the world is that you guys join us at timcast.com in the Discord server, because I do have a kid, and we're already planning when we're having our next kid.
I got a kid on the way too.
Bill's got one on the way, and
Nice,
so
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna say it like this. After this show wraps, it's gonna be about 10:50 or whatever. My wife and the baby are already sleeping. I can't wake them up, so I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna see them in the morning before work. I'm gonna come in, work till about 2 or 3. Then I'm gonna go eat with them briefly, and then come back to work. And that's right. Okay, it's not sustainable.
It's not
So,
enough.
I need you to support the work we do if you do, and we're going to try and figure out how to make it all sustainable and keep the community going when I don't end up in the ER again. I think that's the other reality that I think everyone should consider. I ended up in the hospital and had to go to urgent care a week after that because I was still pretty messed up. There is a reality to be turning 40 in, I think, 7 months. What month is it? I don't know. 5 months? I don't know. What do we got? We got 3, 6, 7. Yeah, about 6, 7 months. I'll be 40 years old. And when I first started doing all of this in my late 20s, my recovery time was less than a day. I could go out and skate for 8 hours and get a heart rate over 200 and be drenched in sweat and do it every single day nonstop. I was in New York during Occupy, and we went from the financial district to the Bronx and back in one day during these protests, and it's just what you did. And now I'm almost 40, and I'm like, I can do that once a week maybe. So the challenge is, and this is in all seriousness, I'm starting to realize that 16-hour days, my recovery time.
My goal is to get you down to 2 hours. I don't want anyone fired, so don't get weird around me, by the way. Don't knife me on the way out. But funnel the content down to 2 hours and one spot.
We're figuring it out.
Timpool.com.
We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. But in the meantime, support the community and help us create something that will create a permanent foundation. And we're going to read your chats. Let's go. We got Shane H. Wilder says, hey, Tim and Phil. Hey, Tim, Phil and I discussed gathering up the boys for a new crusade, liberating the UK, and making our way to Jerusalem. I know Tate and Serge would be down, but are you in? I'd love to conquer the United Kingdom. And I tweeted that, and then Carl Benjamin said Americans need to know how unpopular it is when they say this.
He said the same thing to me.
I said, unpopular to who? To the English? Well, duh, we want to conquer you. Carl's one of the good ones, though.
I said we'll be greeted as liberators.
My point was the UK is already being conquered.
I'm going to be at Tommy's thing next week.
Yeah, on the 13th.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. And Tommy, I talked to him today, and he said, we're winning. And I think it's true. We'll talk about Floydgate in the members-only portion of the show, which we can show a lot more of the content that's going. This is pretty crazy that I'm even saying this, because I don't think I have to anymore. On Instagram, there are dozens, hundreds, thousands of channels that mass produce videos that are overtly racist humor. Like there was one video where it was a black guy with a baby, and he's like, hey, my son's going to say his first words. I'm so excited. And the baby goes, y'all take EBT? There's just endless amounts of videos like this. And I'm like, the pendulum has swung so hard in the other direction that Instagram's not even taking any action against these channels. So we'll talk about that, but let's read more your chats. All right. Fitzy says, does Tim support a law that protects the bird, which is the bald eagle? Like, should the bald eagle be
Can I
protected?
explain that inside joke to you?
Yeah, what is it? Oh, it's a you thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Ben Crump explained. It was like the new Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He explained to George Floyd's brother, I know you're meeting Trump, and can you say to him, we have the bald eagle on the endangered list, but not the black man. Why is that? That was his assignment. And so George Floyd comes back from meeting Trump, and he's like,
Not George Floyd, Ben Crump.
no, Felonious Floyd. Felonious Floyd, his brother. By the way, his mother's name is Larcenia. Larceny and felony are in his family.
His name's Filoni.
Felonious Floyd.
That's the real name?
His real name.
Huh.
Phil, like Phil, like Phil, but felonious. So he goes, he was a great guy. We had beer. He's awesome. And then Ben Crump is like, say the eagle thing. And he goes, oh, yeah. Anyway, so the bird, which is the bald eagle, is on a lit. And we became obsessed with the bird, which is the bald eagle.
Bird, which is the bald eagle.
So we have like bald eagle pins, and I have a bald eagle tattoo. Yeah, there he is. It's
Nice.
the thing.
Oh, yeah. I do love it when they say things like this, like, did you know that guns have more rights than women?
Oh,
It's like, we're not even equal as guns. And then everyone goes, so you want to be banned from polling locations? We can.
Yeah, I'm in.
Need a license to.
Can't go to New York.
All right, let's grab some more. What do we got here? J Dirt Biker says, F it, legalize medical cocaine. And also check out the Arnie States show live on Rumble every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Oh, there you go. Medicinal.
Are these people paying for these?
Yes.
How much?
That one was $1. For the low cost of $1, he got to promote his show.
Okay.
There you go. You know?
A little low.
Well, here's one that's 20. Vacant Stare says, Quebec is my favorite part of Latin America.
I don't get that. You seem like you're from Montreal.
No, do I?
Yeah.
What about me?
Yeah, where are you from?
New York, Long Island.
Ah,
Long Island.
yeah.
Long Island.
I thought he was going to say Israel.
Montreal's very Jewy.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, not familiar.
The English that were kicked out were all Jewish during the separatism. That's why when people ask me why I'm such a Semite, I'm like, I don't know. I grew up around them.
A philo-Semite? You love my people?
Yes, I'm a philo-Semite.
Yeah, we fuck with you back.
More than most of the Jews I know, actually. Like most of the, I know rabbis that fucking hate Israel.
Uh-oh. Jay Riggs says, Elaad, you're stupid is showing. Basic fact, Virginia allows you to marry your first cousin. West Virginia does not allow you to marry your first or second cousins. West Virginia has more strict familial marriage laws. Way to hate on West Virginia.
Yeah, so I actually pulled it up. I wasn't going to drop the stats during the show, but it said West Virginia was rated second among the states of intermarriage with your cousins and your
illegal.
family.
But there's a
Still
difference
happens.
between it's legal and it's a pattern. In Pakistan, it's a pattern.
West Virginia is
West
actually,
Virginia, it may have happened a couple times. It's not a thing.
West Virginia is the second most Trump-supporting state. It's got below average national crime, tons of economic opportunity. It's fantastic here.
It's also like lowest per capita income per capita, GDP per capita. I forgot the average salaries is like
So
most in the
you're
country.
saying there's no correlation between poverty and crime?
I'm saying not in this case, but it's one of the poorest states.
I got to say,
Yeah, it's opportunity.
When the driver pulled into 7744 Pine Street in Chesterton, West Virginia, I was like, this place feels like a crime scene.
What address are we dropping there? What is it?
What is it?
I'm doxing you.
We're in West Virginia.
It's
an open invite.
West Virginia?
Well, everybody knows we're in West Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
but I
just
appreciate
got
the
doxxed.
reverse doxing.
You got swatted here, didn't you?
Not here. We can't get swatted here. But the old studio was swatted like 15 times. We had fake bombs sent. They found, so, you understand this, like, at a certain point you buy property, you obfuscate the ownership,
Yeah.
They still found it. We think we know who did it. We sent the info to the FBI. They laughed at us, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They didn't stop it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You know what's weird? When you have a really good home address and it's solid, someone comes to your house as a friend and then they send you like shorts with a penis on the front.
What?
Like as a joke?
Like novelty shorts?
Yeah, like novelty shorts as a joke, and you're like, what the fuck? So you start like calling all your buddies and
did
like
this?
getting their address and finding, and then like, did you get my shorts? And you're like, dude, I spent 2 days of my life finding out who sent these.
We just have guys with rifles who, when the guy walks up with the shorts, they grab him by the
I
throat.
killed a guy who had some novelty shorts. I hope you're proud of yourself.
We have security perimeter, and we tell people because of the death threats, don't come here. You've been warned, but crazy people do crazy things, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I can't say too much for security reasons, but we've had some crazy stuff happen.
Well, if you want to see with our security, come to 7749 Pine Avenue,
I'm sure that's an address.
Charlesburg, West Virginia.
Charlesburg.
That's where we thrive.
Yeah, let's grab some more of these. What do we got here?
Hope that's not a real address that gets blown up tomorrow.
Someone lives there. Let's see. Gasparero says, I am 54. My wife is 45. We just had our 5th child, Vienna Lee.
Hey.
Happy health, 6 pounds, 2 ounces. Wow, congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Astrofox says, Gavin, will the Vice movie you made ever come out?
No, I was told by someone who left the studio, 20th Century Fox, they said, and I quote, the fat man told Mickey Mouse not to let it go.
So this was going to be like a biopic of Vice?
It's a movie of my book, Death the Cool, which includes a lot of Vice stuff.
I mean, this is a no-brainer. This is a $200 million film. This is like...
The annoying thing is I didn't want to do it. And I go, let's just make it about my life, but not include Vice. And like, no, he's a British guy. No, we've got to get Vice in there. We've got to do Vice. And then I go, okay, fuck. And
Well, how do you do a biopic of Gavin without Vice in it?
I guess. But I did get the fattest actor I could find to play Shane.
Wait, you filmed the movie?
It's done.
What?
It's
How
done.
do we get
It's
it?
sitting on a shelf.
How do we get it?
You can't.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Good. Get hacking, Russians. Get in there. It's 20th Century Fox Digital.
Well, but I mean, like, Vice is cooked right now, so what loss is there? Wouldn't Disney want to make the money back they lost?
Sounds good to me. I had a guy offer them $650,000, and he said they said to him, "You could offer me $3 billion. I would never give this to you."
Wow.
Disney said that?
I think Shane shut down Eddie Wang's movie Vice is Broke. That's
It was
just a
called
theory.
Vice is Broke?
Yeah, and it got toasted. Eddie Wang, he's a compulsive liar, which ironically I think he got from Shane, and he was like, "It got shut down because I'm mad about the babies in Gaza."
What?
Because the distributor works with software that helps Israel.
All right, I'm making a
Like,
movie about Vice.
Really?
I'm going to make a movie about Vice.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I can get you this footage. It just has a giant watermark on it.
And they're going to come to me and they're going to be like, we're going to buy the rights so that you don't do it.
Yeah.
All right, $5 million, Disney, and I won't make the movie. You can buy the rights to my Vice story.
It must be Disney because he said the
Oh, I got stories.
fat man told Mickey Mouse no. What are the stories?
From Vice?
Yeah.
You know they had a secret room in their building? A hidden room? You weren't there for this.
For what?
All I can tell you is you remember the Brooklyn building, the white building is at entrance on both sides in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Were you there for that?
My days ended at North 10th.
Yeah, North 10th.
Yeah, okay.
But it was like that white building used to be a skate park or something, or a skate shop.
Yep.
And then they built like studio editing stuff. Well, while I was there, they knocked the wall out in the front on the this would have been the north side of the building, and they took over the rest of the building. Then there was another area where there were stairs that went up to a small room and a secret wall that opened up into a hidden room. Yeah.
That's got to be sex.
I don't know. I went in there once. It's just a table. They were like,
You went in there once.
I think it was for coke.
an inch of cum, and you're like, what the?
Nah, it wouldn't have been comfortable. I think it was probably drugs. And the assumption would be that they needed a meeting where they could bring executives to party, do blow or something.
Yeah, it's going to be blow. And sex. Why are we?
Because
they're not mutually exclusive.
Because they had these glass rooms. They had rooms that were like glass walls, and they had the bear room. That was the bear room was the big glass divider. It was like a big open room, and then it had a glass divider, and there was a bear in it.
Yeah, John Martin sued them for that bear.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the news.
Huh.
He
Take the bear from him?
Yeah, they kept his bear, and he's like, no, that's my bear. I got that on assignment. I own that. And they went to court, and they won.
The Vice won.
No, John
guy.
Martin won.
Weird. Wild. But so, they had these glass rooms for meetings, And when Google came, they went into the big glass conference room, and you could see them in there doing their things. And then they had another room with a hidden wall. And it was,
That's kind of cool. I enjoy disparaging Vice, but now we're drifting into that sounds awesome.
Yeah, there are some stories that I'll refrain from saying related to the downfall of the company.
Well, if it's not sexual assault,
it is, yeah.
Fun. Okay.
Right.
It's like my buddy Chris Lombardi from Matador Records. I tried to get my dad to do coke one night at I think it was my 30th birthday. I was like, "Come on, man!" And he's like, "I've got enough addictions for one lifetime. Thank you."
Let's save a little bit. I'll tell some of the story in the members only, but let's read some. We still got to read some more of these super chats. So, what do we got here? Let's grab this. I'm not your buddy guy says interesting day today. Seeing Keir stormtroopers arrest of a comedian doing their best. Mr. Creedy impression as they cuff him, saying, "Not so funny now, is it, Mr. Funny Man?"
Wow.
That was amazing when they arrested Graham Linehan. I was talking to Tommy Robinson about this. I was like, "You guys remember V for Vendetta, right?" I actually just watched it last week. I'm like 6, so I watched literally every movie on the planet. And it's fascinating that it's this authoritarian England where it's all about nationalism, anti-Islam, Christianity, and I'm like, but the things they're doing are what the left are doing.
Yeah.
So it was funny to see, Creedy is like, and as always, England prevails. And I'm like, now you've got a guy on TV being like, don't say England, you'll be offend someone and you'll go to jail.
And by the way, Guy Fawkes, that stupid mask they wear.
Yeah, he's a theocrat.
He was a Catholic who was upset with how the government was drifting away from Catholicism.
Yeah, he wanted to blow up Parliament.
Destroy them. So he's a religious fanatic.
Yep.
A Catholic religious fanatic.
This is what I never understood about the movie where, it's Hugo Weaving playing V. He's like, a great man wanted to remind all of us what it meant. I'm like, no, he wanted a theocratic government. He was upset with he wanted to blow up Parliament. Whatever. My understanding is in the comic, V is like a very lefty anarchist guy. He's very violent. But it was funny. They made the movie, and all the predictions about authoritarianism applied to the left, and not the right, in fact. So.
Wait, Tim, you cut me off on my earlier story. I don't know why. Maybe it was too offensive. But
oh no, because we got a few minutes left. I didn't want to miss the super chats.
But Chris Lombardi said the next day I go, I feel terrible what I said to my dad. That was so retarded. I can't believe I said that. And Chris goes, if what you're saying doesn't hurt anyone, it's funny. And I was like, what a great lesson. Thank you, Chris.
Makes sense.
And that applies to the British government shutting down someone with rude tweets. If no one is physically harmed by what you've done, it's funny. Stop.
Unless you're trying to maintain control over people and you can't have them deviating from your plans.
Yeah, well, say that, and then, there's no repercussions. That's the beauty of free speech.
All right, let's read some more. We got one evil chef says, "Hey Tim, sad to hear you were sick with a closed throat. Had that happen a few years back when I turned 40. Found out peppermint liquor cures it. High proofs work faster, but it's not for drinking, only to relax your throat. While I certainly did not drink alcohol while I was sick. The last time I had a drink,
Probably the election.
No. Drink in nanoseconds.
Man, I didn't even drink on my wedding. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't drink. No tattoos, no piercings.
It's totally different.
No drinking.
No drugs.
Just work.
Do you drink?
I drink, yes.
Okay.
Only for the Sabbath, of course. For my kiddish. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe
You don't drink?
I quit.
I might have had a
Drink a lot.
Yeah.
Day drinking, wake up in the morning, drink.
Well, you're an
until you
old
take a
man.
nap.
You
I wasn't
just
talking
can't
or
be
anything.
slinging back brews like this still, can you?
Wait, I thought, you know what's funny?
aren't you washed
I thought
up
you were
like-
going to say the exact opposite. I think you were gonna be like, you're an old man. Of course you drink bud.
I thought
every
I was
old
gonna
man
say
has a bud in his hand. That's
I thought he was going to say, like, who cares? You're old. Drink away. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen, was that movie Little Miss Sunshine where the grandpa's doing heroin? He's like, I don't care. I'm going to die. I'm 80. Who cares?
I feel like the youth has become more health conscious, especially surrounding drinking. I feel like there's an
Yeah.
anti-cigarette campaign that's been very effective on the youth.
yeah, it's terrible.
Kids don't drink.
A big part of the
Bars
reason
are
why
empty. Talk
anti-cigarettes...
to any bar owner in America, and he's like,
Yeah, they're empty.
they're all on dating apps.
A big part of the reason why people don't smoke anymore is because cigarettes are $10 a pack.
Is that the case?
It's incredibly expensive nowadays.
pub culture, dive bar culture, it's dying, and that's terrible.
It is.
This country was founded on dive bars, by the way.
It was. The founding fathers meeting at pubs to talk about how...
Public house.
That's such a vice hipster bullshit thing to say. You with your gold rings and tattoos and mustache.
I can I'm a fan of yours.
I know.
It's from
that love.
Now I'm a bullshit.
I could just see you being a barista.
Sure. Anyway, to the point,
Barista.
it's a literal fact that the
Christ.
founding fathers were meeting at pubs and they were having beers and they were pissed off about what the crown was doing.
The American Revolution happened because they were learning gun training, and they were at the public house, and no one would come, so they go, okay, how about free beer? So they'd get their beers, then they do the gun training after, and they started talking like, why are we paying all these taxes to a king? So drunken rants at a bar is why you have America.
Indeed.
Yet
All right.
you keep attacking me for my
out of
alleged
love. It's a place
barista
from love.
appearance.
We are going to go to the uncensored portion of the show over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. So smash the like button,
Also
share
known
the
as
show.
the end zone.
Yes, smash the like button, share the show, follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and don't forget to subscribe to my new YouTube channel at Tim Pool. Don't ask me why there's YouTube names the channels the way they do, but youtube.com/@TimPool. And I put up a video today talking about, you guys want to watch this one. YouTube's not too keen on sharing it, but there's a viral video going around of these German guys in France talking about how France ain't French no more. So definitely check that video out. Gavin, you want to shout anything out?
Censor.tv is the only place I can be. I'll be at Tommy's rally on September 13th. And we have a comedy show in Queens you can check out on Censor.tv. That's coming up soon. We can't announce the location. And Harley Burke, my boxer's fighting on September 26th against a very tenacious inside fighter from Ireland. That's all on Censored.tv.
Right on.
Nice.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I am Elaad Eliyahu, the White House correspondent here at Timcast. Maybe not for long if things go as the way that Gavin wants them to. Gavin left the room, but I was going to say it was a refreshing throwback to Gavin. Me and Gavin go way back. Phil?
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains. I'm not Phil That Remains official anymore. The band is All That Remains. You can follow the band on YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you there.